As I was making my way to the spring, I come across this. I'm not an expert in turtle identification, but I believe it's an eastern box turtle with this beautiful orange coloring around its neck and its head. I want to kind of give you a close-up before he sticks his head back into his shell, but looks like he's taking a little nap. He's sleeping here on us. Hey, buddy. We've had quite a bit of rain these last couple of days. You can see the spring is flowing pretty good. This is a really interesting spot on our farm. One of my favorite spots. I've come down here pretty much my whole life. I'd explore this area as a teenager, and during my college years, I'd camp out down here quite a bit. This is kind of the corner of our property where this stream comes out. It's kind of two parts of it. There's one section here that flows during wet weather or after a big rain, and this particular stream right here is always flowing. So this would be considered a tier 1 stream. So as you can see, we're going to get a little closer. This is where it actually originates, comes out of the ground out here. And so what is truly fascinating about this exact spot where we're standing is historically this is a very, very important spot. It's actually considered a Cherokee Spring. As we get closer, you can see the rock wall that's been constructed. At one point, that rock wall had 4 rock walls that surrounded it. It probably had some type of log covering. Even our Native Americans, they knew the importance of keeping your water source clean and keeping animals out of it so that you don't get sick. And so it's considered a Cherokee Spring. After the Native Americans left this area, the pioneers used this spring to keep milk cool, or maybe to cool their fruit. And they would actually, the property line between the Armstrong farm and the Robertson farm went right down the middle of this spring, so both families could make use of that water source. My father, when he was a young boy, they would come down here to collect water. This is where they would get water, drinking water, from this spring. So I actually found remnants of a moonshine still different metal components and parts. I found axe heads and all types of artifacts in the bed of this spring over the years. So definitely this was a place where Native Americans and pioneers would come because they knew they could get fresh water. One thing I just noticed, interesting enough, is a mussel shell. I don't know exactly how old it is, but that's one of our freshwater mussels. Hopefully we might look for those, see if there's any more of those in this spring. These are extremely unique creatures. The freshwater mussels are truly abundant in Tennessee because of all the limestone. The lime in our rock, the limestone rock, deposits into our rivers and helps to create the shells of these freshwater mussels. So let's get up here a little bit closer and get a look at the Cherokee Spring and the beginning of the spring as it comes out of the ground. All right. As you can tell, you can kind of get a little bit of a visual there. There's 2 bowls. Now they're full of silt and sediment right now, but there's a bowl there and there's a bowl there, and you can actually see this channel that has been carved out in the rock. Whenever those bowls are completely cleared out and you get all the sediment, those bowls will fill up with water, and this channel is the overflow And all of this is dry. A few years ago, this large limb from a sycamore tree fell and broke part of the wall. I've been slowly trying to reconstruct it, but it's kind of challenging. These rocks are pretty heavy. But this is a Cherokee Spring that at least is 200, 250 years old. And this is the source of a Tier 1 spring, or a Tier 1 stream. That means the value of 1 is where it originates. Whenever this spring joins another spring, then downstream from that confluence, the place where both of them join would be considered a Tier 2. A Tier 3 is a combination of 2 Tier 2s and so forth and so on. So your Cumberland River would be an example of a Tier 4 river. Cherokee Spring at the source.